Okay, so good evening, everyone. This is for me the last session of the year. I'm glad we are going to do that together tonight. And I thought that maybe we could have a session more dedicated to the practice. So we'll have basically 50 minutes of practice, but obviously you can change position whenever you feel needed. And what I'm going to guide is basically all the steps that are either preparation for shamatha or shamatha itself on the breath, starting exactly where we are now, which means maybe the mind is a bit agitated, maybe the body is a bit restless. So we take what we have now and we're going to work with that. So in the more than 3 months to come, maybe you can go back to that structure that I think you are already familiar with. First being maybe to settle a bit the awareness in the body, and then slowly to find our object as if for the first time, because we tend to skip that step. And after that, slowly diving in the practice of shamatha. So we may not even think that what we're starting with is a meditation. So we can be just relaxed by thinking, well, that's just a preparation. I'm putting all the condition right, so my mind maybe later can be more relaxed and focused. We start where we are, turning our attention to the body, to our posture. We may browse the various parts of the body, checking if there is unnecessary tension that we can observe there. In the hands, shoulders, and we can witness that it's not because I say shoulders that our mind directly turned to there. Sometimes it doesn't want to go there. Or maybe even we don't feel anything there. We cannot decide, do I feel any tension there or not? Unsure. And what we're trying to develop in this beginning is basically to know our posture, to know that we're sitting. And it's certainly not because we're sitting that we know that we're sitting. We may even feel something under our butts or in our hands, but it doesn't mean that we know at that time that we're sitting. Try to feel, I know that I'm sitting. I know I'm here sitting. And to sustain this conviction, I know I'm sitting. Constantly know, as much as possible, that you're sitting. And experience the difference between just, again, feeling tactile sensation here and there, and knowing that you're sitting on that basis. It's something simple. Don't expect something big, blissful. It's just simple. I know I'm sitting. And again, this is not even meditation. So we can just relax. We are slowly diving into the training of making our attention more stable. Cooling down the wonderful machine of the mind and the body. And let's see if we can know that we are sitting and also know that we are still. Just observe the body that doesn't need to make gross movement. In a stillness that is not something forced, that we force ourselves not to move, but something that somehow can become pleasant. That we allow. It's a little treat we are making to ourselves. And don't hesitate to make some little pause when you feel it's becoming uncomfortable. Check again your posture. Sometimes our mind becomes tense because our body slowly becomes tense, especially our hands, our shoulders. And I'm asking you now the question, how does it feel to just be still? And there's no good or bad answer to that. Because whatever is the condition of our body and mind now. This is what we have to work with. And the condition is sometimes even hard to observe, to acknowledge. And it may take time to just say, okay, oh, I don't feel so well in the body. I feel restless at the moment. There is an inner turmoil, maybe. Maybe it's fine, maybe it's comfortable. Oh. And that observation is not fixed. It may change from one moment to another. We may feel unpleasant, and the moment after, just because, oh, there's a little bit of the hand that relaxes, just observing that feels comfortable. It is not something solid, static, these feelings. And the first step of the practice of shamatha is to train in our faculty of recognition. Having feelings and recognizing feeling for what they are, these are two different things. One doesn't require training, the other does require a training. Consciously knowing this is pleasant, this is unpleasant, this is neutral. Now, in the depths of our minds, we are going to forge a nice altruistic motivation to color this meditation with something vast. And I'm going to just let you a few moments to design, to dedicate this practice to people you know, a group of people that encounter especially dire suffering, and see if you can expand it. Be creative. Let's continue our exploration. Now we turn our attention to the breath. And having a vague experience of the tactile sensation that we have when we breathe is not enough for launching powerful, relaxed shamatha session. Even for the breath, we have to find our object of meditation with a sense of that is the breath. This is not just the in and out breath. This is not just a feeling in the belly. I know I'm breathing. It sounds similar in our experience, but it's not exactly the same. Because otherwise, if we don't know this is the breath and this is more like feelings, at one point we will not have the certainty that we're meditating on the object. We might not have the strong apprehension, yeah, I'm not losing the object. I'm focused. Because we mix the object and its part or object and the thing that are related to the breath, like the feelings, tactilities, and things like that. We have to be specific, knowing the breathing, knowing that I'm breathing when I'm breathing. And before we do that, we are going to train in that recognition. So, what I suggest now is that when you breathe in, you know that you're breathing in. And this was stated in numerous occasions in the sutra. And I think we can really think, oh, yeah, but that's very, yeah, okay, well, I'm breathing. No, there's an indication that it's not just to pay attention to the tactilities, it's to know it's the in breath. And for that, you may need to use mental words, but not necessarily. Know that you're breathing when you're breathing in. Know that you're breathing out when you're breathing out. And do some tests. And don't expect that you may know the in and out breath to every breath. Just do that for once in a sequence. Don't be tense. But if on 10 breaths at one moment there's an in breath, and yeah, this is the in breath, this is the out breath, it is fine. And as we progress, we're going to be able to experience that recognition more often. And this will help us to maintain awareness on the breath later on. So again, this is not even meditation. We dive slowly in the practice of shamatha that we'll do later by training the clarity of our minds. And I think for those who've attended retreat with me, we did this little, I don't know if it's a game, but test. You look at your screen now, and you can either see some kind of shape and colors, or you know this is François in the screen. And check if you have to have inner words to recognize it's me. So on the one hand, you can look and see some colors, and on the other hand, you can look at the screen and without words, maybe just this is François. It's different. And that is a very little tiny button that we have to know how to switch in the practice of shamatha. Otherwise, the mind is gonna move too much when we go in a shamatha session. Okay, so let's return back to the breath. Try to know that you're breathing in, breathing out. And these are different. And because we try to do this exercise, we're already training in our attention skills, but very gently. We don't expect like to stay without any distraction for 30 seconds, but we are following an instruction, and by doing so, we are training already. And we can check that our breath stays really peaceful and quiet. Quiet doesn't mean that we don't hear it. It can be that we are in touch with it with the ear consciousness also. No problem. Let's make our breath peaceful, if we can. Or going slowly in that direction. Is it somewhat easier to know that you're breathing in when you're breathing in, etc., or not? Okay, we can do small pause. We can Relax your legs if you want for a little time. And because we like meditation, sometimes we skip that because we don't feel it's really a training, this. And because we have very limited time, then we jump right into the shamatha session, but the mind will not be clear. Our recognition factor to know what's happening in real time has not been trained. So then basically we are just sitting. Yeah, I don't know if I'm distracted. I don't know if I'm on the breath. I don't know if that's correct. Gross distraction, medium distraction, cannot say. And then our meditation can be lacking nice, peaceful, positive energy. So sometime when you have a bit more time, do these longer sessions. And do many stop. You can stop, drink a cup of tea, resume your session again, no problem. Okay, so now let's check if we can know that we are breathing. Now, not only do we know the in and out breath, but here we just know I'm breathing. We just recognize I'm breathing. We don't go in the details again of in and out breath. Sometimes you can do the exercise of knowing the pause, knowing the duration, is it peaceful or not, the breath. We explore. Now we enter slowly into the realm of placement meditation where we stay with only one object. Here, this is the breath. So just know I'm breathing. I'm connected to the breath. And if you manage to just have okay, that's the breath, well, fantastic. We just stop and we say, okay, I got it. And that will empower further attention, further mindfulness. So we stop and we just look back and say, well, yeah, I knew that I was breathing. It was not just being focused on something else. I know that I'm breathing. Let's do it again. Okay. And that knowing can go from, oh, I know very well, from, yeah, I know. It's all right if there are some variations. And sometimes, yeah, I think I am connected to the breath, but I don't know. I don't have this clear knowledge that I am connected to the breath. It's fine. That doesn't mean we're totally distracted. There are variations. The mind is not a machine. And because we take it as it is, well, sometimes this knowledge is not very clear. It's fine. It's fine. Let's try again. Knowing that we are breathing. Have a sense of this is it. Okay. And with humility that, yeah, okay, this is not shamatha, but that is the direction. Sense of contentment. Yeah, I can manage to do that. I know for 1 second, half a second, I know that I'm breathing. Fantastic. Now, let's try to see if we can expand it. So now, we're going to count our breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Count 1. If you mix, it's fine. This is not the purpose to be exactly right on time at the end of the out breath with the checking with the clock. No, that's not the indication. And if we lose one or one, like number 3 is not as clear, I'm not 100% sure, it's fine also. And let's go until 10. And for this 10 cycle of breathing, as much as we can, keeping the body and the breath quiet and peaceful, let's not forget the breath. Maybe it's too much. In that case, you can do 5 cycles. Okay, let's try. And then we stop. We look back. Was I distracted? So here we have to find a sweet spot. It requires a bit of intensity, but no tension, no stiffness. And that you can only know by your own experience. To put a little bit of intensity, to keep the awareness and the mindfulness active, but checking that the body and the breath remain quiet. And because this is a training, we're going to do it again. And it's perfectly fine to have distractions. As much as we can, we try not to have gross distraction that we lose totally the counting. But it's fine to have ideas coming, impression, your mind is connected to a noise somehow. It's fine, totally fine. Taking the mind as it is and slowly training it. Because if we try to make a training of not being distracted for 1 minute or 5 minutes with nothing, it won't be a training anymore. Because there would be no progression. Let's try again. Okay, maybe I go a bit too fast for you, but it's fine. It's just an average duration. So in these 10 breathing, not only you maintain awareness of your breath, but at the same time, to know that you're not distracted, you have to check that you're not distracted. And that you do from time to time only, not always, as a side topic, side dish. Okay? You can even check that your body stays quiet and peaceful. Once this is more easy, you can do like cycles of 10s. Then we can do 2 cycles of 10. Let's try again. We stop, we look back. And if it's not perfect, it's fine. For those who manage to be successful in this one cycle of 10, let's try to make 2 now. Okay, and you may check your mind. Is it easier to focus or not? If it is, then we see that our mind is being trained now. It's not such a beginner practice to do this. It's to find the level of effort that matches the capacities of our mind. And this is nowhere written except with our own experience and trials. Let's check our shoulders, our face. Let's do again a cycle of 2 times 10. Okay. And in this short session, we learn to train mindfulness and introspection beyond books, just by experience. And sometime in the morning it went well, but during the day we had many troubles, and in the evening we find it hard to train in mindfulness and introspection. So we have to generate it anew. And at one point you will feel it's easier to have like connected awareness to the breath. And this is maybe the time where we can extend the sessions. We can start to enter 5, 10, 15 minutes, where this time we're going to be totally distracted, but it's fine because now we have to train mindfulness. In the same way we train equilibrium on a slack line by staying on a slack line for a longer time. But when you do the first steps that we've done, then you will notice more easily when you're distracted, and you will have a powerful mindfulness. If we skip these 2 steps that we've done, then it's very hard to recognize that we're staying on the object and that we lose it. Okay? So now we're going to do about 10 minutes. Shamatha on the breath to finish our session. If at one point you feel, oh, my mind is a bit decaying in quality, stop. But sometimes you may experience to try a bit more, because sometimes there's this little thing that will unlock. And maybe you push it a bit more and then you feel, wow, yeah, that's much more effortful for me to stay connected to the breath. Okay, let's try. So again, many gross distraction can come, because here we stay longer, so it's normal. And you may drop the counting also. Just know that you're breathing. And our vigilance sometimes can check that our hands, our shoulder, our breath remain peaceful. From time to time, we can check the stillness of the entire body and dwell into it. And we may open our eyes and question the perception we have of our body, our mind, our external environment. Is there something different in our perception? Is it easier to find ourselves sitting on a cushion? These after meditation moments are very rich. Sometimes we skip it because meditation is over, but there are sometimes proofs that there's so much change sometimes with just changes in perception. When the mind is more peaceful, the environment is transformed. So we may wish that we will find a deep state of peace. And we can finish by this aspiration. And may all beings, and we may start by our family members, see if it's easy to think of them now. May they find peace. May they find rest. How wonderful if it would be if all the beings would find peace. And by training in shamatha, I will take upon myself to make my mind more peaceful and to be a cause of other beings to be peaceful also. That's my commitment. That's my serious commitment. And may you be peaceful. That's my wish for you, my dear friends. We'll not meet until next year. I wish you the best. And maybe we have time for one question, if there is someone who would like to share.
I'd like to use this opportunity to say that on January, we will have 2 very powerful Zoom meetings with you. Notice will be sent to all, but we're about to have real fun together in January. So something to look forward to, okay?
Yes. It's going to be on self-identification, how to break the chains of our ordinary perception of ourselves, and how is it presented and so important in Buddhism to use what we can become as a tool to make our progress on the path more powerful. Okay, if there are no questions, so it's time to say goodbye. Be well.
Thank you. Thank you, François. Thank you very much.
Have a great practice.
Thank
My
you,
thought
François.
would be directed toward Israel, as I'm in retreat and to France also, because we have someone from France.
Wow.
And if I
everyone.
can, I will make it even a bit more inclusive. So,
Have a great retreat.
yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Be well. See you.
Take
Bye.
care. Thank you very much.
תודה
Bye-bye.
רבה.
להתראות. תודה.
להתראות.
ביי.